What is up, everybody? It is your boy Farai. Thank you once again for tuning into another video, man. Shout out Notification Squad. Hope you're having a great day. In today's video, we're going to be looking at how we can get more vibe out of our mixes using the simple technique. So definitely stick around for that, man. Definitely make sure to smash that like button. This is actually a technique which I have shown in my vocal recording course. I'm going to be showing this live in action, so definitely stick around for that. If you're new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing as well as checking the links out to my vocal recording course, vocal mixing course, and vocal enhancer, all for FL Studio. If you're into that, definitely stick around. Let's get straight into it. Alright, so let's get straight into it, man. So as you can see right now, we have a template set up. This is pretty much my super crazy template that I use to mix. And what we'll do first off is, right, this whole trick is based around mixing your beat and making it sound larger than life before you actually start mixing the vocals. If you can get this right, you are going to have a lot more of an easy time identifying where the vocal is actually going to fit within the context of the rest of the mix. You're also going to know where to place all the effects. You're also going to know how loud the vocal should be. You know, a lot of times people are getting confused, you know, with trying to have the vocals make up for pretty much the whole mix, whereby, you know, a mix is a blend between the vocals and the instruments. So, you know, we're going to listen to the track real quick. We're going to kind of identify, take some notes in regards to, you know, what we could change, what we could, you know, what does the beat sound like, right? This is a mix, or this is a beat from a mix, which I did a while ago, and I thought it would be cool to recap on it. So, yeah, man, let's take a listen to the beat dry, and then we will transport over to the channel strip, which probably you see in the camera, and then we'll be doing some mixing. Obviously, again, please pull up a SSL-G series EQ if you can get one from Waves. There's the SSQ equalizer, which you can find in the description as well, which is a free replica of this EQ, pretty much the same curves. But nonetheless, let's take a listen to the track. Let's get into it. Alright, so there you go, you get an idea of what the song sounds like. So what I'm listening for really, I'm really dividing the song up into three different sections, right? I'm looking at the low end of the track, I'm looking at the mids, and then I'm looking at the top end of the song. And what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to our SSL strip, so we can mute that. That was just the dry mix. And then what we're going to do is we're going to listen to the SSL mix. You're going to realize one thing, that the track is actually softer. We've got a few plugins, but we'll talk about those afterwards. So we'll listen to the track through this channel strip, and then we'll obviously hear that the volume is different. So, and the reason it's softer is simply because of the fact that we are going to be doing some boosts. So having that additional headroom to actually do a 6 dB boost, you know, here and there is really going to help us, because that way we're not going to be clipping our master bus section. We're going to be able to really emphasize parts of the track that we like. For example, if I want to sculpt the bass, I can do that. If I want to pop out certain melodies of the track, I can do that, because I have reduced the overall level of the track. This is something that I have talked about in the vocal recording course. Simply turning down your beat so that you can do your adjustments, record your vocals onto it, and then fit everything nicely together. So let's pretty much kind of talk about firstly the layout of this channel strip and how we can actually use it to enhance the track. What I'm actually going to be doing, and then you can watch me do it, is I'm going to be using the volume knobs. These are the line input knobs, right? This is basically volume. Okay, we've got the left channel and the right channel. Then we've got the dynamics. All I'm going to be doing is turning up the dynamics, usually to around 2 decibel or 2 to 1 ratio at max. From then on out, we're going to be doing some EQ, and I've kind of got some preset points already laid out that I generally like, but we'll kind of see if we need to adjust those. So let's get straight into that. And then I want you to also pay attention to the volume as I start to make adjustments. Let's get it. So you can really hear that difference right there. You saw I did some tweaks and things sound amazing. If we compare that to the rough mix or the original mix, we can see that there's a large difference in sound quality. There you go, I'm pretty happy with that. And as you can see, I went absolutely crazy on the EQ, but we are still not clipping our mix bus too badly. So we can really get away with doing our nice boosts and that whatnot. So yeah, man, let's kind of talk about what we actually did. So first thing, as you saw, what I did was I boosted the input section. So obviously if you have your SSL EQ, you can do that. Boost the input section. Obviously you had turned your beat down, so you're not hitting the channel strip too hard. From then on out, I really like to just kind of, obviously this is going to be dependent on, you know, the type of emulation that you have, but really all I did was turn up the ratio or the dynamics to 2:1, and what that does is it really boosts the overall volume of your mix. So if I just turn this on and off, you can kind of hear. Well, let's just go over to there. You can hear we get quite a lot of volume, so let's just get that back to normal. There you go, we really got this full sounding mix. It really reminds me of like 2012 Drake or whatever. But yeah, man, after that what I did was, I did this actually last probably, but you know, just a nice little bit of EQ, filtering, so just to get rid of anything below, I guess it's 10 hertz, 15 hertz, whatever the frequency is on the SSL. I just did that so I could really boost the low end without getting that crazy sub-harmonic sound. After that, I boosted a little bit of the EQ. 3 dB is going to work. Maybe we could go even crazy. Let's listen to that. Yeah, you know, 3 dB sounds good to me. After that, this is where the secret comes in, man. These 3 bands are definitely going to be the secret sauce in your mix. What I'm doing over here, right, the reason I'm boosting 6 dB or 9 dB in this case is that I really want to emphasize the most important element of the track. And that's probably going to be that kind of paddy vocal sample thing, you know what I mean, if we really listen to, let's listen to a bit beforehand. You can just hear how much more emphasized that sounds. That's going to sound really good on a cell phone or something like that. You obviously don't want to overdo it. So what I like to do to test that is you can just filter out all of the bass and then just listen to all of the treble or anything above 350. So now you can really hear the song sounds a lot more animated. There's kind of a division in between all of the different elements, right? The drums kind of have their own thing going on. There's a nice splashiness with the hi-hat. You're hearing that a lot more. We've got that sample that's kind of popping out of the speakers more. It sounds a lot more happy. It sounds a lot more good. You can hear the reverb in the background. You know, the hi-hat's obviously not too overemphasized. You want to watch out for boosting too much treble. That's something you can do on your mix bus. And then after that, you know, what we did was, you know, obviously you can scan through again. So if we just keep this frequency or this filter enabled, you know, it's pretty obvious pretty quickly that the 3K region is probably going to be our best bet. If we go to 800, things get too muddy. If we go to around 7K, we start to hear too much of that hi-hat, and too much of that hi-hat is going to be really annoying. So, you know, as you can see, 3K seems to work for this instance. Really beautiful. Again, what we do over here, because I said we're using a G-Series EQ, we can actually enable this low mid frequency, which is these 2 bands right here. We can enable these buttons right here, which basically mean that it's going to divide the frequencies by 3. So right now we have it set to around, I would say like 250. 250 divided by 3, I don't know, maybe 200 divided by 3 is going to give you like 66. So we can boost the low end like crazy. And since we have so much headroom, we're not going to be clipping anything. So we can really get that 808 carved out, make it sound beautiful. And then in the low frequency shelf region, anything below 120 is going to get boosted again, just to really add some nice warmth to the track, just to kind of level out this kind of difference right here between the highs and then the lows. And that's really all I'm doing, man. You can definitely hear a difference. Obviously I would fine tune this again once I was ready to mix the vocal, but as a starting point, this is what I'm always going to be doing when I'm starting off my mixes. I like to start on a good foot, especially when the artist says, hey man, just give me something amazing and upfront, right? Obviously certain songs you're not going to want to do crazy enhancement, but if you get full if you get full creative control of a track, or if you're mixing your own music and you feel maybe that your mixes aren't popping out of the speakers, this is always a good method to getting good sounding stuff. So yeah, man, we'll take a listen AB once again, and then we'll check that out. So let's get it. And there you go, real nice upfront nasty. So yeah, man, definitely go try this out with a plugin. Definitely go download the SSQ EQ from Analog Obsession if you do want a free SSL equalizer. Unfortunately, I can't really help you out when it comes to the dynamics section. You can try out the sound goodizer and just use about 3-4% is what I always do to replicate it. If you are looking to do something with the line amps, you can use the Bus Color 4, and that's also going to give you a nice sound. So after that, man, obviously I had some plugins that were enabled on the return. So, obviously we sent our beat out to outboard gear, that went into here, and then we obviously returned that track over here. And then what I'm doing is I'm adding a little bit of this SSL saturation. And I just add 7% of that and don't really drive it that hard. But I do that just to kind of enhance the transient. So this is something that you could use a Bus Color 4 again, or a Channel 7, something like that, just to give you a little bit of saturation, just to kind of pull the top end out. After that, again, an Analog Obsession plugin, which I find really phenomenal. This is going to emulate you running through a transformer. So for those who don't know what a transformer is, it's just going to add a bit of nice color to your track. So that's something I like to do as if I was running through a secondary piece of gear. Yeah, and then after that, again, just a little bit of EQ or leveling usually. Again, this time around, I'm just doing a little bit of EQ right there. And that's really giving me that sound, man. I'm pretty happy to, I'm pretty happy using this method. It always works out for me, especially when, you've mixed the track and maybe you feel that it just doesn't compete against other tracks. Then doing something like this is definitely going to help you get that fuller sound. On top of that, then you can, really EQ your vocals into the beat. So, obviously my job now would just be to make sure that the vocals aren't clashing with the snare, as well as with the melody, the pad, and then the kind of vocal chop. And that's really it, man. That's really my starting point. This is definitely going to take your mixes from sounding two-dimensional into something that sounds more three-dimensional, if that makes any sense. So yeah, man, thanks for sticking around. Definitely check out my vocal recording course, vocal mixing course, and vocal enhancer for FL Studio. Keep mixing. I'll check you next time. Peace out.